In Canada's ambassador over Ottawa's condemnation of the sentencing of Russian opposition politician Vladimir Kara-Murza. Russia is accusing our ambassador and the U.S. and UK's of, quote, crude interference in Russia's internal affairs. Foreign Affairs Minister Mélanie Joly's office confirms Russia's summoning and says in a statement, "We won't be dissuaded and stand by our earlier statement. The Russian court ruling against Vladimir Kara-Murza is a gross violation of human rights." This week, Kara-Murza, a vocal critic of Russian President Putin and Russia's invasion of Ukraine, was sentenced to 25 years in prison. He was jailed on charges of treason and other offenses, including allegedly spreading false news about the war. The opposition politician, who has already survived 2 poisoning attempts, vehemently denies those charges. Since the start of the invasion, the Kremlin has introduced a number of laws criminalizing the spreading of false information about its military. Let's bring in now Vladimir Kara-Murza's wife, Evegnia Kara-Murza is with us live right now. Hi, Ms. Kara-Murza. Thank you very much for making the time. I appreciate it.
Hello, very much. Thank you very much for having me here today.
I just wanted to start off and ask you simply, how are you doing?
I don't have an answer to that. There is a very good saying by Winston Churchill: if you're going through hell, keep going. This is exactly what I'm doing.
When you say keep going, what exactly do you mean? And I'm going to be specific here. We've spoken before. I've spoken to your friend and your husband's friend, Bill Browder, on many instances. There is a great desire to see the international community increase its pressure on Russia in order to reverse what just happened this week. Is that what you're hoping to see?
Absolutely. Well, you know what? I hope to see those who are now persecuting and prosecuting my husband brought to justice themselves. Because this is a regime of kleptocrats, of murderers. This is a regime that has launched a criminal, aggressive war against its closest neighbor. This is a regime that violates the rights of Russian citizens for over 2 decades. So I want to see these people brought to justice themselves.
Is there a specific way that you think a country like Canada could do it? And I'll point to our introduction. Look, our minister was one of the first to come out with a statement of condemnation of this sentencing. And right away, our ambassador in Russia was summoned. Are there specific actions that you'd like to see governments like Canada take?
Well, first of all, I would like to thank Canada for being the first country to introduce sanctions against perpetrators in my husband's case. Those Magnitsky sanctions that Vladimir, my husband, has been fighting for since 2010. He's been campaigning for the introduction of personal Magnitsky sanctions against perpetrators in gross human rights violations. And I very much want to thank Canada for introducing such sanctions against those implicated in the illegal, unlawful prosecution and persecution of my husband. These sanctions were then followed by the US, and I know that yesterday, after the verdict was pronounced, the Latvian foreign minister announced that such sanctions will also be introduced by Latvia. There is a lot that the global democratic community can do at this moment. I think that it has become clear that the only way for Russia to stop being a threat to itself and its neighbors is for it to become a democracy. For as long as the regime of kleptocrats and murderers is allowed to stay in power in Russia, Russia will continue to represent a threat to the entire world. So I believe that now everything must be done to bring closer the day when this regime collapses, because the only chance we might get at building a different Russia, a democratic Russia, is when this regime collapses in Moscow, in the Kremlin. And this can be brought on by the sanctions, by introducing more targeted sanctions, more economic sanctions, definitely by helping Ukraine win this war on Ukraine's terms. Because in the past, the Russian history has shown that those, small victorious wars led by those despotic regimes in the past have always led to a change of the regime. And I believe that Ukraine must receive all the help that it needs to win this war on its terms, because nothing else can be asked of a country that has lost thousands of people, that has lost hundreds of kids to this invasion. And, the humanitarian catastrophe that we are now witnessing is absolutely mind-boggling. And also, I believe that a huge help would be in showing support and solidarity with those Russians who do continue to oppose the regime and its policies, like my husband, like hundreds of people in Russia. Over the past year, over 20,000 people have been illegally, unlawfully detained by the government, and there have been hundreds of criminal cases initiated against these people for opposing the war and Putin's policies.
And your husband got the longest sentence of a political opponent of Vladimir Putin, and I just don't want to let that pass with our viewers not kind of absorbing it. 25 years he is sentenced to. I know that he's already, I can see it on your face. He's already facing a lot of health issues. He's already in the past, they tried to poison him twice. He survived that. What does he face in the conditions that he is in right now?
Vladimir is a very strong person. I'm amazed by his strength, I must say. Amazed and inspired. But it is true. Having survived 2 poisoning attacks, he's not doing very well health-wise. His health has been actually deteriorating quite rapidly. These poisoning attacks resulted in peripheral nerve damage. And he's now, after a year in pretrial detention and sometimes spent in solitary confinement, he's developed symptoms of polyneuropathy in both his feet and his left hand, which means that he's basically losing feeling in his feet and his hand and cannot use his feet properly. He's also lost over, now closer to 50 pounds over the last year. So his health is deteriorating. This diagnosis can actually lead to paralysis. So although I understand that Vladimir remains very strong spiritually, his spirit has always been amazingly strong. It allowed him to push through all these assassination attempts and continue his work despite all the threats. But I realized that, with his health deteriorating, he obviously doesn't have 25 years. He hardly has 5. So I'm asking for all the help of the democratic community to make sure that he survives this, that he somehow is freed and is able to join his family and his kids.
I'll leave it there. Our thoughts go out to you and your family, Evegnia. Thank you very much for making the time for our program tonight.
Thank you very much for having me.